Hey, how's it going? ZapD Productions here, and I'm here with a movie review for you guys, continuing on with the Expendables movie reviews. So, for this review, I am going to be reviewing the Expendables 2 from 2012, which I do think is a very solid sequel, and I think when it comes to all the Expendables sequels, this is definitely the best one, and I don't think anyone would argue with that. And there's even some Expendables fans that even say that this is their favorite Expendables movie, which I can respect that, I really can. And there's also some people that say that the Expendables never needed sequels, which I do think is also fair to say, but all in all, I do like this movie. And even though I still like the first one a bit more, this film does have things that the first film doesn't have, particularly when we're talking about the cast members, because in this movie you have even more action stars and people that I'm actually a fan of too. But of course, you do have a lot of the action stars from the first film make a return here, like of course Stallone, Arnold, Jason Statham, Jet Li, and Dolph Lundgren, of course. Now, when it comes to Jet Li, that is actually one of the rather disappointing things about this film. Jet Li didn't really have a heck of a whole lot to do with this movie in comparison to the first film. Now, what I've heard was Jet Li was actually working on a different movie at the time, and that's why he didn't have a whole lot to do with this film, why he didn't have much screen time or anything, which I guess is kind of understandable. And plus, given that there are more action stars in this movie, and again, stars that I am a fan of personally, that kinda makes up for it. Kind of. Now, you do have Chuck Norris make an appearance in this movie, which is really cool. Chuck Norris is, of course, a legend. And you also have Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie, who actually plays the bad guy. Now, what I've heard was when it comes to a lot of these action stars, apparently they don't like playing villains for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why that would even matter, you know? But I thought Jean-Claude's role as a villain, I thought was really cool. And I'm definitely a big fan of him. I mean, of course, Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Universal Soldiers, to name a few favorite movies of mine from him. So you do have him in the movie playing a villain, and I thought he played the villain role very well. And his sidekick or whatever is actually played by Scott Adkins, who I think is a very underrated actor. And yeah, and I've heard when it came to Scott Adkins, apparently he was supposed to have a lot more to do with this movie, but they cut a lot of his stuff out, and yeah, so it's pretty lame to hear about that, but, you know, it's cool that he is in the movie nonetheless. And when it comes to the action, again, like with the first film, the action is great, it's really fun, and even the humor is great too. And of course, you do have the one-liners in the movie. Of course, you have Arnold saying, "I'm back," which is just really funny. I mean, that's the thing about these movies, like, you know, with the one-liners and stuff. And that's another thing that I do like about this film is I feel like they really gave Arnold the spotlight more in this movie than in the first film, which is cool. I really can't complain too much about that. So, again, another solid cast with another great cast of legendary action stars. So again, you really can't complain about that. So all in all, it's a solid sequel. I would say it's a very solid sequel. Not as good as the first one, in my personal opinion. They definitely lightened it up as far as the tone goes. And like I said about Jet Li not having a whole lot to do with this movie, that's one of the things that, you know, kind of has me like, because I do like Jet Li. The same kind of applies to the third film as well. He wasn't really in the third film that much. I mean, he was there for a little bit, but not too much. And he wasn't even in the fourth film at all, which is really lame. But, you know, not that I don't understand why, because number one, he probably didn't want to do another Expendables movie. And number two, I know that Jet Li in more recent years has been dealing with health issues and stuff, which is really sad to hear, and I really hope that he recovers from that. I don't know how he's doing now. Hopefully he's doing well, so yeah. Jet Li is definitely a legend, definitely one of my favorite martial arts stars in film. But all in all, great movie. It's a great sequel, so if you like the first film, I would say give this one a watch if you haven't seen it. And again, it's definitely the best of the Expendables sequels. So, yeah, another great Expendables movie. So, The Expendables 2, really great film. If I were to give this movie a score, I would probably give it maybe an 8.5 out of 10. That sounds about right for me, so let me know what you think of The Expendables 2. What did you think of this sequel? Did you like this sequel? Feel free to let me know all your thoughts. So on that note, thank you for watching. Have a good one.